In the midst of the holy month of Ramadan yesterday, when millions of Muslims around the world were solemnly fasting, unexpected news shook the public. King Charles III was reported to have converted to Islam. This rumor spread quickly, igniting a commotion throughout Great Britain. Citizens flocked to seek certainty, questioning the truth of the news which, if proven true, could be one of the most shocking events in the history of the British monarchy. As heir to the throne of the British Empire, King Charles III is not only a leader, but also a man with a myriad of extraordinary mandates. Before ascending the throne, he was a skilled jet fighter pilot. In the 1970s, he once piloted the Phantom F-4 supersonic aircraft while serving in the Royal Navy and Royal Air Force, an experience that is not common for a future king. However, behind his image as an aristocrat with a military background, there is another side to Charles that often goes unnoticed: his deep interest in Islam. Since he was young, Charles has been prepared for his great destiny. The title of Prince of Wales was given to him in 1958. He also became the first heir to the throne in British history to earn a bachelor's degree, after completing his studies in history, archaeology, and anthropology at Trinity College, Cambridge University. But no less interestingly, he also showed a serious interest in interfaith relations, the environment, and architecture. Because of his closeness and admiration for Islam, speculation that King Charles III had embraced this religion has grown stronger. This rumor is actually not new. The issue has repeatedly surfaced. The Mufti of Cyprus in 1996 claimed that King Charles had converted to Islam. This speculation became even wilder when Charles gave a speech at the Oxford Centre for Islamic Studies, where he openly praised Islam's contributions in various fields, from mathematics to architecture. He also showed his admiration for the way Islam discusses women's rights, something that is often misunderstood by the Western world. This interest has not faded over time. In May 2017, when he returned to visit the Oxford Centre for Islamic Studies to inaugurate its new building, Charles opened his speech with a typical Islamic greeting. He highlighted how classical Islamic architecture blends harmoniously with the grandeur of Oxford University's historic buildings. As patron of the center since 1993, Charles has long supported its mission of building understanding between the Islamic world and the West. The inauguration ceremony was also attended by Prince Turki Al Faisal, chairman of the Board of Trustees, and Dr. Farhan Nizami, the center's director. Rarely in the history of the British monarchy has a monarch shown such great concern for Muslims. However, King Charles III seems to be an exception. Even before he ascended the throne, his attitude towards Muslim communities in Britain and the Commonwealth attracted widespread attention. A concern that has now, for some, become the subject of increasing speculation. While still the Prince of Wales, he had already shown an interest in Islamic values. At the 25th anniversary of Islamic Relief UK, he delivered a speech highlighting the organization's contribution to helping communities in need. Moreover, he quoted verses from the Quran in his speech, a move that further strengthened the view that his understanding of Islam was not merely symbolic. Then, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic that rocked the world, Charles, then still the Prince of Wales, also gave his support to Muslims who were preparing to welcome the month of Ramadan in challenging conditions. He praised the response of the Muslim community in dealing with the global health crisis, especially their contribution in providing assistance to those in need. Not only that, he also specifically paid tribute to Muslim medical personnel who died in the fight against the deadly virus. However, Charles's attention to Muslims does not stop there. Recently, in a meaningful moment, King Charles III and Queen Camilla went down directly to prepare a fast-breaking meal for the Muslim community in England. This sight is not something that usually happens in royal circles. During his visit to the Indian restaurant, Darjeeling Express in London, Charles was seen wrapping dates himself that would be sent to hospitals as part of the fast-breaking program. In fact, with great sincerity, he spooned biryani rice into the lunchbox, an act that, although simple, carried a big message about his commitment to inclusivity. However, the highlight of all this occurred when King Charles invited Muslims to break their fast at Windsor Castle. This event was not just an ordinary banquet, it was the first breaking of the fast in the castle's history, which has stood for more than 1,000 years. As many as 350 guests from various backgrounds attended this historic moment, which not only reflected the greatness of Ramadan, but also represented the diversity and tolerance of Muslims. This invitation was greeted with joy. The cheerful smiles of the guests who attended illustrated how this moment became a symbol of the acceptance of Islam in the palace, which had always been steeped in Christian traditions. However, on the other hand, this celebration actually triggered a sharp reaction from some British people. For those who adhere to tradition, Charles's decision was seen as a form of ignoring the Christian roots of the British monarchy. This celebration was close to important Christian celebrations, Ash Wednesday and Shrove Tuesday, which have historically always been an important part of the royal calendar. However, at this moment, King Charles seemed to choose to focus on Ramadan rather than celebrating the religious holidays that he adheres to. Tensions escalated when the public noticed that the royal family's social media accounts had not provided any special greetings or commemorations for Shrove Tuesday, an omission that, to some, felt like a tacit statement. Given that King Charles III is also the head of the Church of England, this decision raised even more suspicions. Skepticism about Charles's beliefs grew. Many Britons began to wonder, is King Charles still truly a Christian, or has he secretly chosen a different path in his spiritual journey? Many felt that he was only siding with one religion, while at the same time wanting to be known as a leader who defends all faiths. Ironically, for some, Charles's actions suggested otherwise. One of the most vocal voices in the controversy was former pastor Calvin Robinson. Through his personal account on Platform X, he openly stated his belief that King Charles III had indeed converted to Islam. He even claimed that, if investigated further, his frequent trips to Turkey could be another clue that supported this suspicion. In addition, many people also questioned, why would a British leader, who also serves as the head of the Anglican Church, choose to study Arabic rather than Hebrew or Greek, two languages that are more closely associated with Christian roots? For some conservatives, this decision was not only surprising, but also considered a disregard for his spiritual heritage. Skepticism about Charles's beliefs grew. Many Britons began to wonder, was King Charles still truly a Christian, or had he secretly taken a different step in his spiritual journey? But amidst the torrent of criticism, there were also those who tried to dampen this wild speculation. They argued that Islam is not a weak religion or a religion to be feared. Islam is one of the greatest civilizations that has had influence in the world. Charles's interest in Islam is more a reflection of his efforts to build bridges between the West and the Muslim world, rather than an indication that he has converted. The pros and cons of King Charles III religion continued to develop in British society. There is so much evidence that shows how the king showed a deep interest in Islam. But until there is an official announcement from the royal family or the media, the issue of this is just speculation that continues to roll without certainty. Has he really converted, or is he just a leader who wants to strengthen interfaith relations? The answer remains a mystery. Well, this brings us to the end of our session today. Hopefully, this video can inspire and benefit all of us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss any new videos full of wisdom from Hikmah Islam.